80 characters. Okay, return. It works! Might as well go for it. Okay, so we have made some progress on our Model 15s. This is mine, and we checked it could print from the computer. And we check on the scope, the keyboard works. It was missing a bit, so we just cleaned the contact and adjusted the speed. So this should work. And Carl, who is running way in front of me, has finished setting up his. We know it works super well, driven from the computer, but we have not yet tried to connect the two, or even simply trying to connect this guy so I could read what I could print what I'm sending. And it sounds simple, right? But you need to create a 120 volt 60 milliamp loop. So I'm going to build a box that does that, so I can see if at least this can send characters to itself. So I'm going to make it in another one of those electrical boxes. So this is going to be the 120 volts in. This I am going to use for putting the resistor to adjust to 60 milliamp, and this one I'll put, where are they? Some jacks. So I'll put a send and receive jack, and then we'll wire that into a loop and we should be good to go. So I have to follow this infinitely complicated schematic. Plus 120 volt DC comes here, ballast resistor here, plus goes to the outside and minus goes to the inside of the plug, and this was going to be the send contact, and then that's going to be sent to the magnet in the printer. Same thing with the minus inside and the plus outside, and come back to the supply. The finishing touch. So behold the CuriousMarc teletype test loop. Alright, moment of truth. So I have my modern supply here. It's much safer than the older one. This one has current protection, limited to 60 milliamp. So if something goes wrong, it's going to tell me right away. So that's 120 volts on. So let's see if that does anything. Nope. No touch luck. Okay, so I made a little modification to the circuit, adding this wire here so the loop is closed even if the plug is not inserted. So that'll allow me to test it before I insert anything. Try again. Now, even when I don't have anything, the loop should be closed, so that should enable me to figure out if something is any wrong here. So voltage 120, current, we'll do 70. Okay, on. Okay, voltage. Oh, okay, so now that works. Let's try the receive, and that should stop the chattering now if it can hold the magnet on. It's a little bit below, it's 55 milliamps. It should pull my magnet over here. Okay, it pulls it, but not quite enough. Okay, we'll put a little bit less resistance in the loop. Alright, and see that is the relay working. Okay, so is my, no, it's also not enough. So this guy is not sensitive enough. It's not adjusted. So let's do a little bit more. Okay. Okay, now it works. Okay, so this guy is not adjusted for 60. It's adjusted for 70. So now, if I turn it on, it shouldn't shatter anymore. There you go. If I turn it off, it shatters. Okay. Nothing. Oh, it might have been operator error. It was not in send. Let's try that. There we go. So now we seem to have something working. Let me try A. Got it. B. C. C got a V. D. E. F. J got a K. Show you J. Okay, I think I got it. I just had to move the selector here a little behind. So letters A, B, C, E, D, F. Oops, sorry, no, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, X, Y, Z. Catch, return, and live feed, which are two different things. So I'm gonna have it. Guys, I am in a Teletype loop box construction craze here. So my original 3-gang box has grown one more gang because I discovered that you need to have both send and receive in line if you want to see what you're sending. And another thing I was looking for is a good milliamp meter to adjust the current easily, and this one I got from my recycler Halted. But while I was looking for that one, I found this guy who originally looked very, very dirty but cleaned very well. It looks actually new. And I think this one was originally made for teletypes. It says, no, it has a little graduation with a 0 next to 60 milliamps, not exactly, at 66. It has percent mark bias, so I suppose it refers to space and marking. And with two scales, one written conventional, the other written cable. So it's all a bit mysterious, and also a voltage percentage scale over here. So I bet this was made for a teletype application or current loop application. Okay, before I package it, I wanted to check that it was actually measuring milliamps. But apparently it's not. 850 microamps, it's almost full scale here. So unfortunately it would have been too good to be true. It doesn't measure directly. So I brought my decayed resistance here, and we should be able to put about 1 ohm in parallel with that. There we go. Okay, 1.3 ohms is what I have to put in parallel, and I have put 1.8 ohms in parallel with 5 ohms in parallel with 51 plus 2.3. I think it's smack on 60. Alright, so we have calibrated our meter. Alright, it has been a big mess and a lot of time to make simple things, but I have my 3 boxes that will allow me to run a transmission between my 2 teletypes. So that's the base loop. That's the tool that will allow me to adjust the loop to 60 milliamp. And that's the box that's going to be on the receive station. And actually this one I have not finished, I've left it open to show you how it's done. So same thing, that's send, receive and line. And if I take it apart, you'll see that it's actually quite simple. basically all my receptacles are wired in a loop. So that's the center of this one goes to the outer of this one, then the center of this one goes to the outer of this one, the center of this one goes back to the outer of this one. So they're all in series, and the little red jumpers here is a little trick. The plug is shorted if there is no plug to it, so that allows me to plug things in and plug things out and not break the loop. So that's why it's called a current loop. So you have the printer, then it goes to the keyboard or vice versa. Then it goes to the line, which will go in series here to the line, which will go to the printer and the keyboard. And the only difference here is that after having gone through the keyboard, it goes to the resistor and the power supply, so I can inject power. So this whole thing is one big loop with one battery, and one of the guys just flips it open, sends the bits in it, and all the other guys receive it. And that basically implements what's called half duplex, which means all the stations can talk to each other, but only one at a time. Okay, and with our new boxes, we are going to attempt the first intergalactic transmission from my Model 15 to Carl's Model 15. Mine kind of works, Carl's works really well, but we fear not. So over here, I use my modern power supply. It's easier to control, to put some power in the loop. Here we go. Then I put my send and receive plugs in here. It doesn't really matter because they're on a loop. I'll try my newfangled current control box in the line. I haven't tried it yet. I hope it works. We'll see pretty soon. And that's our transmission line. So it goes from here. So the loop continues, and I'll take you over back here, right where I do basically the same thing, which is line in here, really doesn't matter where it goes, and send, and somewhere is receive. Here is receive. And if I have done everything right, I should have half duplex between the two stations. Let's see if I get any current in the loop. Oh, actually, I should be able to test it if I were. Oh, yeah, I have a little bit short of 60 milliamps. I made it so that when I unplug it, it just loops back. So it needs a little bit more voltage. Let's see if we can do that. There we go, 60, and we need more from my device. Here we go, we're 70. Okay, so now if my loop is closed, yep, it is closed. The current went down because now it's on two machines, so I need to put a little bit more into it. Okay, 68 milliamps. Alright, so my device works, and we'll see if I can get both devices in the same frame and me not in the middle. We turn them on, and they don't chatter, so that's good. It means there's current flowing. Alright, and then if I type on this one, close the carrier heater on that one, do a line feed on this one, it did the line feed. I had to set it in transmit mode, it wasn't. Okay, so let's see. We can attempt to write something. If I can zoom in a little bit. Okay. Right. So there are a few errors. I know the cows made a few errors. So let's see. Today's world news didn't get the D. So the S is my fault. I typed it wrong. The D, I don't know if it didn't transmit it or not. We'll see in the other one. The first Interga didn't get the L. It transformed it to a P. Capactic. Teletype. It got a V. Transmission was successfully achieved instead of achieved in CuriousMarc, and I wanted to do lab, so it got stuck somewhere. Well, it was a little bit of noise in the intergalactic transmission. And here, over here, what do I have? Today's world news, so I definitely typed the D, just didn't get it. The first intergalactic teletype T, so the R it mistook as a line feed, so there was an error. Transmission was successfully achieved in CuriousMarc lab. So this teletype worked a little bit better, just made one mistake. So now we have to make sure we don't have noise in our intergalactic transmission, so we'll need to adjust the machines. But still, for an only mechanical way of transmitting, this is pretty impressive. So if you type on this one, you control this one. If you type on this one, you control that one. So it goes slow. Then you can see it types over here. Then we cannot type at the same time, right? You have to type. Then you do carriage return and line speed. Let's get mom on the other end. Go mom. So, no, it's very useful. I can text mom. I can say, should I wash the dishes? Wait for it. Here it says, should I wash the dishes? And over there it said, should I wasn't the dismiss? Okay, you can answer. And mama says yes.
What?
Says you will help me.
Yeah, who will help me?
Oh, who will help me? Because you typed over it. I will help you always. And it wrote here, I will help you too always. And what is it?
No, you say I will. No. You don't wait.
And here it said, I will melt you na place. Okay, well, this is not perfect quite yet. There you go, it's fixed. 60 milliamp current loop, no errors, intergalactic transmission. Yep.